If you all have questions, you can definitely ask us. But as per the statement, if you've seen it, it says that there was an investigation that was opened up into security, about the security services, about me using campaign funds to pay for security services. Me using campaign funds to pay for security services is permissible through the Federal Election Commission. This is something we can do. This was instituted by Nancy Pelosi to as a way to not have the House pay for security for those who need it, but still a way for people to be able to pay for security. So we did that following the rules and regulations of the FEC and the rules and regulations. Once we became House members, the rules and regulations of the House. So every ruling entity, all the regulations we worked within to be able to do this. And so there are right-wing folks, and it happens on both sides. It can happen on both sides. It could be Democrats can go after Republicans. Republicans go after Democrats. And so there are some folks, because they have some money, they are able to bring complaints. And it really can be anyone if they're able to do it. You can actually go online and just type in a complaint and say, hey, would you look into this particular thing? It's that easy. So just to be clear, it's that easy. You can go on the Federal Election Commission. You can do all these other, and you can ask them to open up an investigation into this person for this particular thing. So that's what happened. This right-wing Trumper decided that's what they wanted to do. They opened up, they asked, said, can you investigate how I was spending the campaign funds on security? And then when it didn't go that person's way, there's an article that talks about where the person is saying, like, hey, I can't believe that, like, she still gets to do this. So now I'm asking the DOJ and the Washington Bureau of whatever and this person and that group to do investigations too. I'm asking the House Ethics to investigate. So this person was like, hey, since the FEC didn't do anything, like, I want to, like, somebody, like, I need somebody to do something. And so that's how the other investigations happened. So all of this came through basically that. Like, most of it came through that. Not all, but most of it. So when the Congressional Ethics looked into it, they did a full investigation, months long, and that's what's in the statement. They came back with a unanimous vote of no wrongdoing, that the case should be dismissed. They looked into it extensively. But part of the procedure is it passes to the House Ethics, not just Congressional Ethics. It goes to House Ethics, and House Ethics decided not to pick that piece up and decided that, like, hey, we don't have to open up an investigation into the exact same thing that you all just did because we feel like what you found was right. But that did not stop the DOJ from picking it up too, because they had already received back in August or July, whenever that article came out, that person not only reached out to the House, they also reached out to the DOJ and all of these other groups. And so that's where the DOJ one comes from. So yes, there is a DOJ investigation. It's from the same thing, like I said. But for the DOJ investigation, it is being reported that it has to do with the MRA, with the government taxpayer money, the budget. This is incorrect. It is totally false. But what sounds better? What gets more clicks? What gets people to go, oh no? What makes people mad when you start talking about taxpayer dollars? If they would have put it out and said campaign funds, people would have been like, oh, that's messed up. But it wouldn't have really went hard, because campaign funds, people, it's just not as salacious and click worthy. But you say taxpayer money, then people get mad. And so that's what went out initially. But that is 100% false. So we are believing that the same way that it was unanimous, which I've heard that is not usually how it goes. It's usually not a unanimous vote. that you get from the employee ethic. Congressional ethics. But we believe that it will be the same. We believe that once we're doing everything that the DOJ has asked for. They asked for documentation of different things. We have our stuff, so we've just been turning that stuff in. So we believe that it will be, that this will be resolved. But we also understand that if this person who is a right-wing Trumper type deal, if this person asked the DOJ to open this investigation, and if the DOJ would have said no, then this person could have come back and said the DOJ didn't do this because she's a Democrat and the president is a Democrat, and it's just to cover for Democrats. So there's a whole political side to this too. So anyway, but just so you all know, like, that's what's going on. And, as we walk through this, one thing to remember is there are people who are very, very angry with us, powerful people who are angry with us because we said ceasefire. Like, I'm gonna go back, like if we just look at ceasefire, there are people who are very, very angry about that. So it's not going to be easy. They're not going to make things easy. And so but we have to remember that that's how people keep power. When they can intimidate you, when they can harass you, when they can box you in the corner, when they can make you feel like I need to quit, when they can make you feel like, like these things are so horrible, I'm tired, then they get you to stop. They get you to shut up. They silence you. So I can't even though it's hard, even though I want to go through this, even though I don't like my name and my reputation being dragged through the mud, even though all of that, my family, my husband, even though I don't. But you don't get liberation and freedom by putting out some quotes and doing some talk shows and then magically all of a sudden folks liberate. That's not how it works. Folks that got power ain't just giving it up. You got to go and take it. So the way to take it is you have to walk through the all the hurdles that they put in your way. So I just want you all to think about that. So as you're going through, dealing with this and seeing the articles and whatever people are saying and all of that, just remember, think about how many folks was actually with Dr. King when Dr. King was doing all the things that he was doing. Not the folks that talk about him now, not the folks that hype him up and he was the greatest and all of this stuff now. He the GOAT now. But back when he was actually in the middle of the work, how many folks was actually by his side? How many folks turned away from him when the FBI came at him? And when the FBI was putting out all of this stuff saying he did this and he did that, how many folks was actually with him and how many folks turned away from him? They know the game has not changed, you all. The COINTELPRO, look it up. What did the COINTELPRO do? And I'm not saying this is COINTELPRO, but what I'm saying is it's the same type of tactics. If we can throw mud on your name, if we can get you caught up in spending money, if we can get you in a place to where you tired and people don't trust you no more, and all of this, if I can ruin your credibility, then we can ruin you. And then you no longer will be in that seat, and we can put who we want there. And it's a different situation. So I just want you all to remember that we say we fighting. What does that really mean? Like, this is part of the fight. This is part of the fight. The fight is not just writing us having a good speech. That's not the real fight. The fight is all that comes around with it. All the adversity that will come. And the adversity won't look like stuff that's easy. The adversity can be stuff that is heart-wrenching and difficult. So I want you all to know that even as it is tough, even as they try to scandalize my name, even as you all get questions about all of that, I won't stop. Because if I stop, then they win. If I stop, St. Louis don't get what they need. And I am never someone that's going to allow my integrity to be chopped up because I'm doing something wrong. Can I make a mistake? Absolutely. We all can make mistakes. I'm not infallible. But I will never just go out and do something that's wrong and say, shh, let's keep it quiet. Let's hope nobody finds out. Yeah, I'm not that person. So we fighting for the people while we're being fought to be silent. So, all right, I'll turn it over to Lanice, but I just want you all to remember that. Remember, this is the time. This is the moment. This is a history-making moment. Look at what's happening. This is a history-making moment that we are in the middle of. Do we run from it because it's tough, because they're throwing all of this stuff at us? Or do we push through and walk through it and come out on the other side victorious for the people who need us the most?